center field. They're now in the process of doing the coin toss. Our game ball sponsor for this evening, JSF Landscape and Construction. Representing them are Jeremy and Kim Porkham. Once again, JSF Landscape and Construction here at Chillicothe is your game ball sponsor for this evening. Also, fans going through the stands now are girls from girls soccer. They are doing your 50-50 tonight. So, if you want to participate in the 50-50 this evening, see these young ladies right here, or other ladies going through the stands. Once again, that's girls soccer. Welcome to Pioneer Country. Please welcome the Zane Trace Marching Pioneers as they present the school fight song, the Script CT, and the Alma Mater. The band is under the direction of Kate Waller. Leading them through the CT is Field Commander Megan Lewis. Now the band would like to honor all current and past members of the military with the playing of Your Grand Old Flag and America the Beautiful. That was the Zane Trace Alma Mater. If you're a current and past member of the military, these next two songs are for you. Now we ask that everyone would please rise, remove your headgear, so that we may honor America, those who have served, and those who are currently serving. Singing the national anthem tonight is Zane Trace senior cheerleader, Mackenzie Mash.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly strewn, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Again, football fans, girls cheerleader, girls cheerleading October 1st. For your breakfast, you can allow them to serve you. If you fundraiser for them to go to Hawaii, you see the young ladies walking here in front of the stands. They're for girls soccer. Tonight they're doing 50-50. So if you're interested in the 50-50, check with one of the young ladies there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Pioneer Field tonight. The Pioneers welcome the Shermans of Unioto. The excitement is in the air. Ladies and gentlemen, the Board of Education, Superintendent, Principal, and Athletic Department of Zane Trace High School extends to each of you a cordial welcome. Zane Trace and Unioto High Schools are members of the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Scioto Valley Conference, abiding by the rules and regulations set forth. These athletes participating this evening are friendly rivals of opposing schools. Ladies and gentlemen, an attitude of good sportsmanship is expected by all. The officials assigned to this game are the referee, Mr. John Oyer, the umpire, Mr. Don Porter, line judge, Randy Klauser, head linesman, Steve Carson, back judge, Sean Wiley, and the center judge is Mark Detweiler. As a result of the coin toss, Unioto won the toss and they chose to defend the west goal, and they will receive the ball. Zane Trace will defend the east goal and they'll be kicking off. Your starting lineups for the Shermans: on offense at tight end, number 3, Maddox Fox. The center, number 56, Nate Morrison. The guards, number 60 and 64, it'll be Ward and Reynolds. Tackles, number 53, Fleck, and number 50, Perkins. Blake Hoops, a wide receiver. Newton Hoops, number 5, your quarterback. In the backfield, number 2, Matt Griffin. Number 34, Corbin DeMint. And number 26, Cody Tuttle. For the defensive side of the Shermans, the 2 defensive tackles, number 52, James, and 55, Fox. Tight ends, number 11, KB Perkins, and number 22, Andrew Griffin. Linebackers, number 10, David Long, number 26, Cody Tuttle, and number 14, Ethan Sumner. At the Isaac Cunningham also in the backfield, and number 13, Caden Cutright. The single safety, number 2, Matt Griffin, and the free safety is Casey Dre. All right, Pioneer fans, out of your seats, clap your hands and stomp your feet. Welcome to the field, your Zane Trace Pioneers.
A pleasant good evening to you. Welcome into Zane Trace High School in Kennewick as we get set for the biggest game in the area. Two teams ranked in the top 10 in their respective divisions in the state. The 6-0 Zane Trace Pioneers and the 6-0 Unioto Shermans. Jacob Wise along with Dewey Daly. We've got Carson Francis on the camera tonight. Glad to have you with us on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth. A lot on the line in tonight's game, DC, as the basically top of the SVC on the line here. Both of these teams still have to play Paint Valley, who comes in still undefeated in the conference. But right now, these are the top two teams in the heap.
Well, absolutely. You know, every single year, Unioto Zane Trace, one of the most not only anticipated games in the SVC, but really in the overall, Southern Ohio area. And the best part about it is, it's not dependent on are these two teams good. Fortunately, this year, both teams still 6-0, 3-0 in the SVC. It's dependent on, these teams don't like each other. They never have, and I'm going to go out on a limb here and say they probably never will. And once again, they are both 6-0. And the best part about a rivalry is when it's competitive. You look at the last 10 matchups between these two teams dating back to, it'd be 2012. It's 5-5. Now, recent memory, Unioto 4-1 in the last 5. Zane Trace getting back in the win column last year. I think it was a 28-13 win at Unioto. Going to look to make it 2 in a row here tonight. A win here tonight for Zane Trace will push them to 7-0 overall, and it'll be their first win against Unioto at home since 2016.
Some folks in the press box here at Zane Trace with sons playing in tonight's game, saying how nervous they were and that they just have to sit up here and watch the football game. I hope it's a good one for you, as Unioto won the toss and elected to receive, so they want to get the football and take it down the field and get on the scoreboard first. If you're looking at our graphic at the bottom of our screen, we're not going to be able to see the time for a little while. We can't see it here either, as the sun is reflecting right off of it anyway. So we'll do our best to pass along the time if we can see it. But once that sun sets, we'll be able to see it just fine.
That's our student section down there. Let's hear it, student section, loud and proud.
Big crowd here from both sides. There was a little bit of jawing there during the player intros or the teams coming onto the field, as you would expect in a game like this. Think about every coverage outlet in the area and beyond is at this game. Yeah. We are packed here in the press box and some of us outside the press box, but it should be a fun when the light's off here to get things started.
So it won't be very long before they have to turn them on.
Yeah,
those sun getting close to setting. Probably won't get to the end of the first quarter until they have to flip those on.
So we'll wait the kickoff here from the Pioneers. Both of these teams come in running the football very well. We'll see a steady diet of that tonight. We know that Unioto can pass the ball pretty well. Zane Trace hasn't had to pass the football, so that may be an important part of tonight's game to look forward to as well. 3 guys back here for Unioto, standing at their own 10-yard line. And the bleachers shaking here as we get things started. It's a short kick. And taken at the 20, trying to move up. got by a tackle, almost dropped the football there. Nice little return there by Isaiah Cunningham, and the Shermans will be set up here 1st and 10 in decent field position outside the 30-yard line.
Isaiah Cunningham on the return.
Our first look at this offense from Unioto with Newton Hoops, who is playing very well here. About 64% completions. He'll probably hit 1,000 yards passing here in this game tonight. If he doesn't, it'll be a massive disaster for Unioto. He's at 980 coming into tonight, but that defense for Zane Trace has been pretty nasty. 14 sacks, 7 picks, 15 turnovers in the first 6 games. Hoops in the gun, does hand it off around the side. It's Dre, and he'll pick up a nice gain on 1st down out to the 40-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and short.
Really, and that's what Dre is. You know, he maybe in the book as a running back, more of a wing back. A lot of his carries are on, you can call it a jet sweep, that kind of play, an end-around type play. That's really where he makes his ground up on those plays.
Dre also listed as the backup quarterback, but does play that wing position. Came in with 35 carries, 310 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. A nice gain there to bring up 2nd down and 2. And a flag here before we can get things started. It's a legal procedure on Unioto, so that'll back them up. The officials for tonight's game, the referee is John Oyer, the umpire Don Porter, line judge is Randy Klauser, the head linesman is Steve Carson, the back judge Sean Wiley, and the other official Mark Detweiler for this game here tonight, as the lights did come on here at the stadium. 2nd down and 8 after the illegal procedure there on Unioto's 2nd play and the first penalty of this football game. Fake the handoff here. Quick swing pass out again to Dre. And he loses the football. Zane Trace jumped on it first, but it popped back out. It's in the pile. And the Pioneers say they have it. They do. So the first turnover of the football game, and the Pioneers are set up in Unioto territory.
And really in a game like this, especially when you take the ball first, that's not what you want. Now Zane Trace looking their chops here, going to get the ball to start the 2nd half. And, we can't tell exactly how much time's on the clock, probably still double digits in minutes. And here they are at the 35-yard line already in Unioto's territory.
This might be an old man yelling at the cloud moment, but I've always say, and I always will, you win the toss, defer. If you don't score on your first possession, if you take the kickoff, then you forfeited the opportunity. You forfeited the benefit of winning the toss. And, if you play defense first, you could score at the end of the half and to start the next one. Handoff straight ahead here to get things started to Daniel Barnhart, the junior, having a fantastic season. 846 yards coming in, 7 touchdowns. He's had 4 100-yard games this year. His biggest one last week with 170 and a 48-0 win at Westfall. 4-yard gain here, 2nd down and 6. Hartsaw, Barnhart, Phillips. We'll especially see a steady diet of Barnhart and Phillips. It's Barnhart next to the quarterback Carter Langley in the shotgun here as Nayland Robinson goes in motion. Langley will keep it, gets a nice block in front, gets to the sideline, and he's taken down at the 20-yard line. There on the tackle is Caden Cutright coming up from his DB spot, but it'll move the chains for Zane Trace, and 1st down for the Pioneers.
When you got as many guys that can run the ball as Zane Trace does, you kind of forget about Langley. And right there, I think it was Barnhart in the backfield with him, just read option, pulls it out, a lot of room to the right side. And, it's going to be a play that you're going to see him go to a lot. They get used. You almost have to stack the middle if you want to stop Barnhart coming straight ahead. That time they do. It just opens up a nice lane to the right side.
Langley ran for 106 last week, nearly 400. That run put him over 400 yards rushing on the season. Out of the gun again here. He'll run it himself straight ahead. He gets hit immediately and taken down by Nolan Fox. And a loss of, looks like about 3 yards back to the 23-yard line. Well, now the ref moves back up forward, and the guy with the yard marker, the down marker behind him, trying to mirror him. Originally, they called it way back. They move it back to the 21, so could have been worse there for the Pioneers, but a great play made by Nolan Fox. Middle of this defensive line for Unioto, they will rotate in about 9 different defensive linemen. A defense that's similar to Zane Trace in that they've been very, very stingy. The Shermans have given up 8 points or less in 5 of their last 6 football games. Langley in the gun, 2nd down and 11. He'll toss it, Far side, Barnhart trying to find the edge, cuts it up, and he bowls forward past the original line of scrimmage. He'll pick up about 3 yards here and bring up 3rd down and long. And Dewey, we were talking about this before the game. Zane Trace hasn't had to throw the football much, and when they do, it's, they've run the ball so well. They've been able to get time and get guys open. What's going to happen tonight when they have to have 3rd and long and they have to throw the football? We were kind of talking that might be a key to tonight's game.
Well, that's going to be a big question. Now here, it's not as big of a deal as it's probably going to be four down territory for them anyway. So, they may still run here, try to pick up 4 or 5, make it 4th and manageable. But, you get into their side of the field, they may have to be forced to throw, which will be, something interesting to watch.
Drew Lane in motion. They fake the handoff. Immediate pressure, and Langley hit as he let that one go. An incomplete pass will bring up 4th down and long. Now the Pioneers do have a good field goal kicker, but right now it looks like they are going to go for it on 4th and 8.
4th down for the Pioneers.
Got the big turnover on the opening possession inside Unioto territory. A couple of nice running plays for the Pioneers, but they've kind of stalled out here. And the Shermans trying to make the big stop after the turnover. Just inside 8.5 minutes left here in this opening quarter. Robinson in motion from the gun, has time. Langley to the end zone, has a man open and through the hands. And incomplete in the back of the end zone as Caden Cutright came over and got in the way, ran a little bit of interference. I think they were trying to find Silas Stewart there in the back of the end zone. But the 4th down try goes incomplete, and the Sherman defense holds, and they'll get the football back here with 8:19 left here in this opening quarter, still scoreless.
One positive thing to take away from that is that's in a situation where Zane Trace is forced to throw. Really, that's a touchdown. It just, it gets through the hands of Silas Stewart. Get that opportunity again, maybe makes the play. Zane Trace could very easily be up 7 or 8 to nothing right now.
And good blocking from the offensive line. Had a man open, made a good throw, just didn't make the catch. And a nice play here on 1st down for Unioto out to the 24-yard line on 1st down.
On the carry, tackled by Langley.
Corbin DeMint on the carry, the 6-foot senior. Leads the team in rushes, 61 of them coming into tonight, 361 yards and 4 touchdowns. Had 15 carries for 115 yards against Waverly back in week 3. Season highs for him. Hoops back in the shotgun. Hands it off to the up back. And that'll be out close to a 1st down here. And they will move the chains, so they say he got enough. Corbin DeMint getting that carry as well. Barnhart picks up the tackle for Zane Trace. So 1st and 10 here at the 29-yard line.
Really, both of these teams in their approach pretty similar. Both run heavy, both have 3 guys they let run the ball. Time-wise, this could be a pretty quick game if they're able to stay in the boundaries and keep the ball off the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Handoff straight ahead here. Ball came loose again, and I think Zane Trace got it. 2 possessions, 2 fumbles for Unioto, and Zane Trace has already picked up 2 turnovers in this game. They get it right back, and they'll have a second crack at starting a drive deep in Sherman's territory here in the opening quarter.
I don't think it needs to be said. You just can't have that, especially on your own side of the field. Now, if you fumble on Zane Trace's side of the field, obviously it hurts a little more because, maybe you're in the red zone, but, at least the offense for Zane Trace still has 80 yards to go. Now, similar spot as last time. I think they might be actually either a little closer.
Pretty close to the same spot.
So, we'll see what Zane Trace can do. We'll see if they can take, advantage of this opportunity here.
Under center this time, the handoff straight ahead again to Barnhart. And a nice gain out to the 33-yard line. Or excuse me, we're going the other direction. It's the 27-yard line, we'll call it.
Gain of about 5, 2nd down and 5 for Zane Trace.
So 2nd and 5, nice 5-yard gain on 1st down. Barnhart, the bruiser. We'll see Blake Phillips can also catch passes out of the backfield. Lined up next to Barnhart there in the backfield. And the handoff this time goes to Phillips. Big hole up the middle inside the 20. Another first down for the Pioneers down at the 18-yard line.
You know, it really makes it hard to key a guy. You don't know who they're going to give it to. You know, we talked back in week 1 when they played Logan Elm. It's kind of a boom and zoom deal here. Blake Phillips, obviously the zoom, make Barnhart the boom, but, you know, Barnhart got a little bit of speed. Phillips also a little bit of boom, so.
Phillips with a nice lead block from Barnhart this time. And another good gain there on first down inside the 15-yard line. We'll give them 5 yards, second down and 5. And the Pioneers doing a nice job going under center here. And this time they hand it off again. Phillips straight ahead. Looked like he got it just inside the 5-yard line before he was stacked up there. A number of defenders along the interior of that defensive line. One note for Unioto, they are without linebacker Ethan Summer tonight. Holden Newkirchner stepping in for him. That's a big loss for the Shermans in the middle of that linebacking core. And now Langley asking for help from the sideline here. The official down by the goalpost holding his hand in the air to signal 10 seconds, and they'll have to take a timeout. So the first timeout of the football game, an important one here, as Zane Trace tries to get on the scoreboard first. 5:28 left here in the opening quarter. Still scoreless. Zane Trace trying to punch it in after picking up their second fumble of the game.
At OhioHealth, you can see your doctor here or here, on this or on these. And no matter if you're over here, over there, or anywhere in between, you'll feel good knowing OhioHealth provides the finest care anywhere. Schedule care today at ohiohealth.com/finestcare.
Hey, Mike Glockner here from the Glockner family of dealerships. Want to wish all the fall sports athletes a very safe and successful year. Good luck.
Off the timeout for Zane Trace. A 3rd down and 2 from the 11-yard line. They've done a much better job throughout this possession of staying ahead of the sticks, not falling into 2nd and 3rd and 4th and deep. Fake the handoff here. Langley will take it himself, weaving his way through, dives for the end zone. He's in for the touchdown, and Zane Trace gets on the board first. It's 6-0 Pioneers.
Just an easy, once again, read option here for Langley. Uses his speed, cuts it back up, dives, and just barely gets in. A nice 10-yard rushing touchdown for Langley. Gets Zane Trace on the board.
So a 10-yard run from Langley. We'll call it 11. And for Carter Langley, it's his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year. It's his 16th touchdown, 13 passing this season.
Landon Robinson for the point after.
Landon Robinson back to kick the extra point here. High snap, good job to get it down, and the kick is good for a 7-0 Pioneers lead. 5:22 left here in this opening quarter from Zane Trace. Battle of unbeatens here in Kinnikinnick. Back in a moment on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie & Son Trucking. Willie & Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student-athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie & Son Trucking, each week at SOSAOhio.com.
Michelle and her dad. Decades of dares. 1 month of learning to jump. First day doing it solo. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at OhioHealth.
So a 10-yard touchdown run from quarterback Carter Langley has the first score of the football game after the second turnover by the Shermans. 2 drives for them so far, 2 fumbles, both recovered by the Pioneers. Able to cash in on the second. 5:22 left here in this opening quarter. Jacob Wyatt along with Dewey Daly.
Landon Robinson kicking off for
Glad to have you with us here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth. Week 7 of high school football. A nice kickoff here. It'll be taken by Maddox Fox. Gets by one, gets to the sideline, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 44-yard line. A flag way back, and then a flag again on the sideline. Unioto comes away clapping their hands from the sideline, and the Zane Trace coaching staff wondering what that second flag was for.
It looks like you're going to get a block in the back around the 30. You're probably going to get a dead ball foul over here on the sideline for Zane Trace.
They've signaled the block in the back on Unioto. So talking about things here, the officials break up the meeting, and so there's the block in the back on Unioto. Dead ball personal foul on Zane Trace on the sideline.
And a personal foul against the Pioneers.
So they should walk this back and then walk it right back.
Is that
So
a
10 yards,
rule?
So 10 yards back and then 15 yards forward. There's 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yes, you have to walk it off and then walk off the other penalty instead of just walking forward 5 yards.
You just do some simple math. You can't just cut it off there. I did not know. I didn't know you had to actually walk out the steps of a penalty.
Don't normally see it happen that way, but lets everybody know what's going on, and now they'll blow the whistle again here, and the referee with some words toward the Zane Trace sideline.
Well, it's a rivalry game. It's going to get chippy. You kind of had to expect that coming in, especially when both teams are sitting at 6-0 trying. I think I saw something earlier today. This would be Unioto's first 7-0 start, and, you know, who knows how long.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. So a lot at stake here for both teams.
Longer than you or I have been alive.
That would be correct.
So now it appears everything is squared away, and we'll get this drive underway for Unioto. 1st and 10 at their own 35-yard line. Again, man in motion. The handoff goes straight ahead here. And trying to get two hands on that football is Cody Tuttle. Or was it just regular number 2, Matt Griffin, not 26. Number 2, Matt Griffin with the carry there. Gain of 7.
They did have
Second out
Tuttle.
of 3.
They did have Tuttle running. You know, we called it an orbit motion where he runs all the way around the back of the line. Could see that. You know, a read option, pulls it, flips it to him. We could see that come into play later tonight.
It's one of those things where different coaches call it different things. Wing motion, a little more boring. Orban motion sounds a little more fun. Dre back into that wing spot now as Hoops in the gun. We'll roll it out. Throw to the far side. Blake Hoops makes the catch, gets by a defender, and out over the 45-yard line before stepping out of bounds for a first down for the Shermans.
Just an easy brother-to-brother connection there. You know, I say it all the time. It's not the air yards that matter. Sometimes you just got to put it in the hands of a playmaker and let them do what they do.
See the top programs in college football year in, year out. Just try to get the ball into space to your guys that can make guys miss.
A perfect example of that's Devo Samuel.
Yep.
I mean, you know, in the book, a wide receiver gets a lot of screen passes, gets 4 or 5 carries a game, just that good at evading tackles and moving the ball down the field.
I think Unioto has taken a timeout here. There has not been an official signal yet.
We might have a measurement.
That looks like what they're going to do.
It was close. I personally thought he was closer to the 50 than what.
Hard to see from here where he stepped out. No, they're
Maybe
not going to
about
measure it.
30
They're just going to say he's a hair short. He's at the front edge of the 45. He needs the 50 side of that stripe on this artificial turf. Handoff straight ahead. It's Griffin. Picks his way across midfield, and there's a first down for Unioto. First time tonight they've been in Zane Trace territory. Just inside 4.5 to play here in this first quarter. It's been an eventful start to this game.
Hey, Griffin, not an easy guy to take down. You look at the yards per carry stats in the SVC. Dude's averaging 15.5 yards per carry. That's That's incredible. You don't see that a whole lot.
I think you'll take that. 1st and 10 here. Hoops. 5-step drop going deep, man-to-man coverage. He has his man, it's Maddox Fox, and he's down inside the 10. A big play there on the pass from Hoops to Fox. Maddox Fox, of course, the all-time leading receiver in Unioto football history. Came into this game with 1,800 career receiving yards. Has his 29th catch of the year there. Up over 450 on the year now.
You know, it looked like it was just one-on-one on the right side. Fox, a skinny post. Hoops able to connect with him. A 39-yard pickup. That puts him inside the 10-yard line.
Good ball placement there from Newton Hoops to throw that to the inside. The defender was off the back of the receiver. Allowed his receiver to run into it, and looked like they were trying to run a screen here, but the defensive line for Zane Trace saw it immediately, and they get the loss back outside the 10-yard line. See whether they spot it at the 11 or 12, but 2nd down and goal from outside the 10, never what you're looking for. Usually when the offensive line doesn't block anybody, it's because they're running a screen. They kind of let the defenders go by, and then you don't have to worry about them, but they got to the quarterback so fast. Dre in motion, Hoops the toss to Griffin, trying to get to the edge, and a nice tackle there just inside the 10.
Just great gang tackling by Zane Trace. A sweep, I think it was Griffin on the carry. Gets back, I believe, right around the original line of scrimmage.
Lane Stewart credited with the tackle by the PA announcer here. Hard for us, not the high vantage point where we can't see the numbers over on that far side as well. So it's when you use your ears to figure out who made the play sometimes. Beautiful sky here as the sun goes down. 3rd down and goal here from the 9-yard line for the Shermans. Quick pass to Fox, trying to get to the edge. Stiff arms a man. He's into the end zone for a touchdown. And the Shermans answer with a touchdown of their own. 2:37 left in this 1st quarter. And Unioto an extra point away from tying this game.
Once again, what I say, you don't always have to air it out down the field. A simple screen pass to Fox, I believe, went untouched the whole way. Only 9 yards, but able to outrun everybody. Just get inside the pylon. Pending the extra point here, that should tie things up at 7 with 2:37 to go.
Should be River Pettigrew out to kick the extra point. 29 of 32 on PATs this year. Good snap and hold, and the kick is up and through, and it is a 7-7 football game. 2:37 left here in this 1st quarter. Tie game here in Kinnikinnick on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Parmar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Parmar has it. Download the Parmar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Parmar Rewards Card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Carlos. First time setting foot inside a tattoo shop. 2nd picture his daughter has posted to her story. 3rd check on his bucket list. And 4 years of cancer-free checkups at OhioHealth.
Big answer for the Unioto Shermans after fumbling on their first 2 drives, giving up the first score of the game on the touchdown run from Carter Langley. Able to get the touchdown pass to Maddox Fox, who had 2 big receptions in that drive. And a live football here. Unioto comes up with it, and they get their first. I don't think it officially counts as a turnover, but it might as well be. You'll always have to remember, as anybody on the kick return team, whether you're an up lineman or one of the up men, if the ball comes at you, you got to fall on it. It's a live football, not like a punt. And great awareness by the Shermans to come up with it, and they're set up nicely here with 2:36 left in this 1st quarter, trying to take the lead.
Absolutely. As a Unioto fan, you look back to that game against Waverly, jumped out to an early 18-0 lead. I think it was after their first touchdown, exact same thing right here. Now, I don't think it was as deep down the field, but one thing you got to know, that's designed right there. That's designed to recover that ball. It's a mortar kick. Great job by Unioto to get on it. That gives them great field position here, maybe a chance to take the lead.
Sometimes as those guys up front, you're not thinking about having to handle the football. You're trying to get to your spot and set up a block. A legal procedure here on Unioto. Well, you always have to be aware if that ball comes your way, you got to jump on top of it. So second illegal procedure on Unioto so far tonight. We'll back them up here, first down and 15. Well, the Shermans, you could look at how this game has gone so far and say they're fortunate to be in a 7-7 football game. They turn the ball over twice. They do get the big hold on the first drive. A couple of penalties have kind of set them back on their drives. Handoff here going far side. Trying to get around a defender. Does slip a tackle. Matt Griffin now up toward the original line of scrimmage.
Griffin, the ball carrier.
And he does get just about all 5 of those yards back. Looks like just shy of that original line. So second down and 11 after a 4-yard gain.
Brings up second down and about 11.
Zane Trace doing a good job pursuing. That first guy doesn't make the tackle. They seem to get a couple other guys there rather quickly. As the clock ticks inside 2 minutes here in this first quarter. We thought this might be a really quick game because both teams like to run the football, but all the turnovers and a couple of big passes, a couple of scores have dragged out this first quarter a little bit. So 2 wingbacks here. They motion Dre out to the near side. Hoops to throw, screen pass here. It is caught, slipping a tackle, still on the move. Griffin to the near sideline, puts down a stiff arm inside the 20, and finally he'll go down at about the 17-yard line. And another big play through the air for Unioto. This time it's on the screen. And Hoops did just get that ball off as a late flag comes in. I think Matt Griffin felt like he was hit a couple of times unnecessary after his forward progress had been stopped. Said as much and maybe a little bit more to the official there next to him, and the official let the flag go in the air. So we'll see if that results in a 15-yarder. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty here on the Shermans. And that will back them up after a nice play. Probably give it all back here on the penalty.
You know, you looked earlier on the designed run for Hoops. You said, well, usually when the line doesn't block anybody, it's a screen. Well, this time line gets right through, an easy dump off to Griffin. Pick up a 21 on the play. Obviously moved back 15, so only pick up a 6. Still a new set of downs for Unioto.
And the big problem here, it's, you know, first down and
long for the Shermans.
25.
25, yeah.
But still first down.
First down and a long way to go. Dre again in motion to the near side. Hoops to throw. Swing pass out to the running back. And a little bit too far out in front for Corbin Dement. And a late flag comes in from the near side here. And it looks like a face mask. The official in the middle of the field making the motion.
Another flag on the penalty.
That'd get him back to...
Get some of it back.
10.
Yeah. Fox pointing at Zane Trace here. Obviously a big game for both of these programs, a rivalry game on top of it. Sometimes the emotions or just the extra effort gets caught for a penalty. Some fans here saying let them play.
Stepping it off against the Pioneers.
So that'll take it all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. Well, a yard shy. So it'll be first down and 11. It's been an interesting possession here. 1:26 left here in this first quarter, 7-7 football game.
First and about 11.
After Unioto scored to tie it, the kickoff not recovered by anybody along the sideline until the Shermans got a player to it. And now trying to score off of that to take their first lead. Quick pass here, complete to Hoops. And nowhere to go on the near sideline. Knocked out of bounds there partially by Spencer Brower. And the clock will tick inside a minute left here in this first quarter.
Second and about 10.
So about a yard on that play there, 2nd down and 10. Ball at the Zane Trace 12-yard line, 17-yard line. Back to the double wing set. Handoff straight ahead. Dement got contact immediately, but able to push forward for a few yards. About a 3-yard gain there. 3rd down and 7 coming up here.
Been about an even split so far between Unioto ball carriers. Dement right there with his 4th carry. Matt Griffin with 3 of his own. Casey Dre had 2 as well. So it's been pretty spread out for Unioto so far. I believe 6 pass attempts for Newton Hoops as well. So really run-pass ratio, it's just been just a tad in favor of the run, but maybe a lot more spread out than you came into the game thinking it would be.
Into the first quarter here at Zane Trace. 7-all is your score. Battle of Unbeatens here in Kinnick. You're watching on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
At OhioHealth, you can see your doctor here or here, on this or on these. And no matter if you're over here, over there, or anywhere in between, you'll feel good knowing OhioHealth provides the finest care anywhere. Schedule care today at ohiohealth.com/finestcare.
Hey, Mike Glockner here from the Glockner family of dealerships. Want to wish all the fall sports athletes a very safe and successful year. Good luck.
Getting set to start the second quarter, and I always say the lineman's worst nightmare, where you're all the way deep into one end at the end of the quarter, and you got to go all the way to the other end of the field to get started for the next one. 3rd down and 7 coming up here for Unioto. Ball on their Zane Trace 13-yard line. Hoops in the shotgun again. He'll hand it off to the deep back. It's Dement, has the corner, has the end zone, and a touchdown for Unioto. They take the lead.
Yeah, about a 13-yard rushing touchdown for Dement. Really don't think he got touched until he dove to the pylon. Just, a nice zone to the left side. Once again, untouched the whole way, was able to get the edge. Made a nice effort at the end to dive into the end zone, and Unioto, as of now, up 13-7 with, just under 12 minutes to go here in the second.
As soon as Newton Hoops handed off the football, he put both arms up. Knew that his teammate was going to get it to the end zone. The extra point here from Pettigrew. And that one right down the middle. And Unioto with a 14-7 lead. And after the fumbles on the first 2 drives of this game for Unioto, the Shermans have gotten things going a little bit. Part of that from Newton Hoops, who's passing the football pretty well here to start this game.
I'll tell you what, you look at how well Unioto has moved the ball these last 2 drives. Zane Trace really fortunate right now that it's only a 14-7 ball game. If they don't fumble those 2 times, you could say it could be a 28-7 ball game right now. Is really when they haven't fumbled, Unioto not had much problem moving the ball down the field. Now obviously they're faced with a 3rd and 7, but an untouched 13-yard touchdown run. It shows how much Unioto controlling up front as of right now.
So Zane Trace had this place rocking. A couple of big fumble recoveries to start the game. They score the first touchdown. Unioto able to answer and then, in effect, get the onside kick. It wasn't what they were going for. But nobody recovered the, as you called it, with the mortar kick for Zane Trace. And Unioto there to jump on it. And they cash in with a touchdown to take the lead. So a big drive upcoming here for Zane Trace. Again, both of these teams undefeated, both ranked in the top 10 of the state. Zane Trace, number 10 in the D5 state poll. The Shermans, number 8 in the D4 poll. They are not the only undefeated conference teams, as Paint Valley is undefeated in the league, not overall, but when you're looking at the league championship. That's the only one that matters. This kickoff through the end zone for a touchback. And Zane Trace will get things started with 11:56 left here in this first half.
You know, it's really overlooked how beneficial, especially at the high school level, it is to have a kicker. I believe that was Haynes now. I think, you know, he's missed a couple games early on in the season, now back. May have been back last week. This is the first time I've noticed he's back. When you have a kid that can put the ball in the end zone at the high school level, it really is a game changer.
Quick look here at the SVC standings coming into tonight. And again, there you see Zane Trace, Unioto at top, both 6-0, 3-0. Paint Valley right there, 3-0 in the league. 4-2 overall, and then 3 teams there at 1-2, and the 2 at the bottom at 0-3. So right now, it's a very important football game. And again, Unioto and Zane Trace both still have to play Paint Valley, who is at Huntington tonight.
For Unioto, that's next week.
Yep.
And I think Zane Trace, that would be week 9. And I believe both of those games are at home for Unioto and Zane Trace.
Langley fakes the handoff, takes it himself out near the 25. I'll mark him just shy of the 25. So just about a 5-yard gain there on first down. Again, Paint Valley at Huntington tonight. Adena is taking on Westfall and Piketon at Southeastern. Other games in the SVC tonight. Of course, for complete coverage of the games from around the area, you can visit our website at sosaohio.com. Got folks all over the area covering games tonight. And really every night throughout the week, different sports. Man in motion here, the handoff, straight ahead, Barnhart, and he's stacked up and taken down immediately. He'll lose about 2 yards and bring up 3rd down and long.
Yeah, you know, we said offensively, Unioto doing a great job controlling the line. Defensively, not much different. You get a guy like Barnhart, a big kid. We talked about him, you know, a bit of a bruiser. Stood up right at the line of scrimmage. A nice stop there by the Unioto defensive line.
That D-line is certainly a strength for the Shermans. Griffin, Fox, Carey, Perkins, and then they will mix in Marcel James, Jordan Perkins, Will Fleck, Nathan Morrison, and Braden Reynolds. When you can send that many guys into the game, well, what a luxury to have. Keep those defensive linemen fresh. Now the starters play the bulk of it, but those other guys I mentioned, they've got quite a few tackles this year as well. Trying to find Drew Lane here on the near side, and it knocks off his hands. Interesting to note that Lane is not wearing those tacky receiver's gloves. And on a cold night like tonight, this might come in handy. It's pretty chilly. And so for the first time, somebody will have to punt the football.
Well, and, you know, you talked about keeping guys fresh on the defensive line. If you look at Unioto's defense, a lot of those guys only going one way. You don't have a lot of your guys up front and playing linebacker. They're not playing offense. You know, sometimes you get into these smaller schools, you only got 30 guys on a roster. You got to have guys both ways. Unioto, obviously, the luxury having guys that can play only defense or only offense.
End over end punt with a nice roll down inside the 35-yard line of Unioto. So the Shermans will set up there at their own 34-yard line. 10:08 left here in this first half. And the Shermans with a 14-7 lead will go back on offense. And both teams 6-0 coming in. For Unioto, it started with a 21-6 win over Vinton County. And 2 games on the road, beat Amanda Clear Creek 49-14 and Waverly 48-27. Opened up SVC play with a win over Huntington 48-8. They shut out, or excuse me, they beat Piketon 36-6 on the road and then shut out Adena last week 42-0 at home. So some big blowout wins here lately. Nice cutback out to the 40-yard line and over the 40-yard line. Nice run again, this time from Corbin DeMint, who has been a bit of a workhorse here to start this game for the Shermans.
I don't have the exact numbers, but I really think if you look at the, I guess instead of target share, be the carry share for Unioto, I would say DeMint probably has the highest share of that. Gets a lot of the carries. As for yards per carry, maybe not as high as Griffin and Dre, but you know, gets a bulk of the carries and still does a good job. 13-yard rushing touchdown tonight.
Did have about double the carries of the next highest used running back. He gets another one here and a nice run to the far side out to the 50-yard line. Will move the chains again here for the Shermans. And Dement, the 6-foot senior running back, up over 400 yards rushing on the season now. And 4 touchdowns coming in. You'd think with all the carries he's gotten in this game, they'd try to get him into the end zone. Got that last touchdown for the Shermans. Hand it off to him again here, picking his way through, pick up about 4 yards. Just shy of the 45-yard line into Zane Trace territory. So 2nd down and 6.
On the carry, picks up about 4. Second and long 6.
You know, the officials like to make it easy on themselves whenever they start a drive. If the ball's not exactly on a yard line, they'll move it so they can put that stick right on the yard line, make things a little bit easier for them. And a couple of inches here or there. So that original line of scrimmage right on the 50, and now this run, a little scissors play, gets it inside the 45. A couple of yards there, bring up 3rd down and short.
Dre on the carry.
Casey Dre on the carry there.
Running it on the top, 3rd down. And about 4.
So 3rd and 4. Unioto with a 14-7 lead, 7:40 and counting left here in this 2nd quarter. Happy to take their time. Dre goes in motion. Hoops the pass, another screen being set up here. It's Tuttle on the far sideline, and he picks up maybe just a couple of yards to bring up 4th down, and decision time for Matt Hoops and the Shermans here. 4th and about 3 yards in Zane Trace territory. It looks like the punt team is going to come out.
Yeah, you know, you're up 14-7, you know, about 7 minutes left. You're at midfield. You know, although you've done a pretty good job stopping Zane Trace had multiple possessions in the red zone. You probably don't want to give him possession right around midfield.
Unioto is going to take their first time out. 6:53 left in this first half. 14-7 Shermans. Back in a moment on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
At OhioHealth, you can see your doctor here or here, on this or on these. And no matter if you're over here, over there, or anywhere in between, you'll feel good knowing OhioHealth provides the finest care anywhere. Schedule care today at ohiohealth.com/finestcare.
Hey, Mike Glockner here from the Glockner family of dealerships. Want to wish all the fall sports athletes a very safe and successful year. Good luck.
Out of the Unioto timeout here, 4th down and 3 for the Shermans. They'll punt this one away. Nobody back deep for Zane Trace, so they're guarding against the fake. And the punt's a wobbly one here. And it hit a Unioto player trying to catch it at the 26-yard line, was that?
It was somewhere around there. I'm not sure. I didn't get an exact number on who made contact with the ball first, but it kind of just looked like in baseball it gets stuck up in the lights, except there really aren't any lights for it to get stuck in when you're in the middle of the field. So definitely an interesting play there here.
Make the catch there and down the football. Kind of an odd spot to do that. You'd want to normally let that one hit and maybe get a roll. If it bounces the wrong way, you grab it. There was nobody back to return for Zane Trace, so one of those things where you have to be kind of aware of the situation. So the Pioneers have it, their own 28.5-yard line. 6:46 left here in this first half. Handoff coming near side, trying to find the edge, and unable to do so is Blake Phillips. And he gets just back to the line of scrimmage, so 2nd down and 10. Phillips, by the way, has 10 rushing touchdowns. He's also thrown a touchdown and caught a touchdown this year. So interesting to have it in all three. Yep.
And one of the most versatile days I think I've ever seen out of a high school running back. You throw one, you catch one, you run one in. It's a pretty good game for him.
It's a pretty good start to the season for Zane Trace, a 25-13 win over a pretty good Logan Elm team.
Well, since then, I don't know if they've lost a game.
They also appear in the state poll in their division coming into week 7 tonight. Handoff this time to Barnhart, has some room, breaks the tackle, and he stumbles forward out over the 45-yard line. The first big run there for Daniel Barnhart, the junior workhorse. And move the sticks for the Pioneers as the clock runs inside 6 minutes. Handoff again, and dragging defenders. Barnhart with about 8 yards there on first down. Now they'll mark him back at the 46-yard line, so give him 7, 2nd and 3. Cody Tuttle on the tackle for Unioto.
Well, Barnhart getting into a bit of a groove here. Didn't have a rush over 5 yards. His last 2 have gone for 17 and 7. Probably don't want to see Barnhart getting in a groove here, especially as you enter your own side of the field.
When you're getting chunks like that, too, it in effect kind of becomes your passing game. You don't have to put it in the air if you're getting chunks like that. Clock's starting to work against you. Still 5 minutes left here in this quarter. Langley faked the handoff, took it himself, and kind of had to scramble forward for a couple of yards to bring up 3rd down and 1. So they credit Marcel James and Cody Tuttle on the tackle there for Unioto. Drew Lane running the play into the huddle here along with Blake Phillips. And a handoff to Phillips straight ahead, has plenty for the first down and more inside the Unioto 40-yard line. So the Pioneers move the chains. And a nice drive they're putting together here to try to tie this game up. And if you remember, Unioto won the toss and took the opening kickoff, so Zane Trace could play things right. You could do the old score at the end of the half and then get the ball and score to start the next. And score twice for the price of 1. And again, that's always, in my mind, the reason that you defer if you win the coin toss. Toss out here to Barnhart, looking for the edge. Sneaks inside a defender, inside the 35-yard line, and another good gain on first down.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of Phillips and Barnhart so far. I don't think we've seen Hartzell yet tonight.
No. Gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 coming up here for the Pioneers. About 3.5. And the Pioneers obviously not in a hurry here. Moving the ball nicely on this drive after the short punt by the Shermans. Trying to steal a little momentum back in this game after they had all of it early. And another handoff nearly dropped there by Barnhart. He running through some defenders down to the 25. Carrying guys on his back. Ran over a couple of more at the end of that run. Moved the chains again for Zane Trace.
Another 9-yard run for Barnhart. Another new set of downs for Zane Trace. We have equipment check here.
Make sure everybody's straps and buttons and snaps are where they need to be. Double tights here. Handoff, Phillips. And he's stacked up and pushed back just about a yard on that one. Trying to use Barnhart as the lead blocker there.
Tackled by James.
So the clock ticks inside, 2:45 left here in this second quarter. 2nd down and 8 upcoming. They need the 15-yard line for a first down.
Now you got about 2:30 here. Still 2 timeouts in your back pocket. Obviously no need to get in a rush here. I wouldn't expect Zane Trace to resort to the pass, unless they absolutely need to here.
And Langley will take it himself. Has a nice seam up the middle. Breaks back to the inside, and he's finally knocked down there Potentially a touchdown-saving tackle by Isaiah Cunningham coming up from his corner spot. A nice run from Langley sets up the Pioneers' 1st and goal.
And designed run here for Langley goes for 14 yards. Once again, Zane Trace inside the 10 here with just about 2 minutes to go.
Clock still ticking. Langley had an 11-yard touchdown run to open the scoring in this game. Hands it off here. Phillips has room up the middle into the end zone, untouched. And the Pioneers answer, and now they're an extra point away from tying this game.
Now, once again, in a completely untouched run. This time it's Phillips on the carry. Once, like you said, 8-yard run here. PAT pending. We could have a tied up ball game here. It looks like Zane Trace going to go for some variation of a muddle huddle here. It's like it was all window dressing.
They do that just in case they want to try to
well, you never know.
run
You
some
catch
funny
a team,
business.
You catch a team lacking, and it could pay off. It put them ahead 1 point right now.
So the extra point important here. Good snap and hold. And that one is through, and we are tied at 14 apiece. So the Pioneers get a stop on defense, put together a nice drive, tie this game at 14 with 1:52 left here in this first half. You're watching on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie and Son Trucking, each week at SOSAOhio.com.
Michelle and her dad. Decades of dares. 1 month of learning to jump. First day doing it solo. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at OhioHealth.
.152 left in this first half, a 14-14 football game. Zane Trace set to kick it away. They are the team out of these two that has shown an ability to move the ball in chunks through the air. Of course, anytime you have Maddox Fox on your side, you have an opportunity. A couple of big catches earlier in this football game. Might have to go to him again on this drive. Fairly short kick here. It'll be Fox to return it. Looking to get to the far sideline, picks up a couple of blocks, breaks a tackle, out over the 45, near midfield. And a nice return from Maddox Fox to set up the Shermans. 1:45 left. And just shy of midfield, they'll start this drive. And again, an important one here. We talked about, Zane Trace gets the football to start the second half, so the Shermans certainly want to come away with some points.
Well, you can't really ask for a much better return. You're about 3 or 4 yards shy midfield, so right around about 54 yards to go to the end zone here. Minute 45, not a whole lot of time. You can work the boundaries. You still have 2 timeouts in your back pocket.
Shermans will line up in their double wing formation, 1 receiver wide on the far side. They send that's not Dement. They send Newkirchner in motion. They throw it ahead. It's caught. Blake Hoops inside the 20. And a big play on first down. Thought maybe they'd run a couple of plays before trying to get it down the field. But a nice play there to Blake Hoops. And now all the time in the world, 1:36. They'll start the clock when they get the ball set for play. And now it's ticking down.
Yeah, 3rd catch of the night for Hoops. First 2 went for 3 and 1 yards. This time, 37 yards and into the red zone for Unioto.
You're looking at under 2 minutes, 54 yards to go. You pick up 37 of them on one play. It certainly makes the task a bit easier. Hoops in the pistol. Looking to throw again. Good protection going to the far side of the end zone, just out of the hands of Fox. He had him open. A pretty good throw there from Hoops, but just a touch too much on it.
Unofficially, the first incompletion for Hoops tonight. You know, I think Fox had a bit of a step on him.
Yeah.
Not an easy throw, you know, just a few inches too high and too long.
He's running that corner route and had the inside leverage, and that's where Hoops tried to put it, just overshot it by maybe just a foot. I think Fox may have gotten a fingertip on it.
Does stop the clock.
2nd and 10. 1:02 left in the half. They hand it off this time, coming near side. Dre sticks it upfield, almost lost the football. Squeezed it between his legs as he was going down to about the 10-yard line. There is a flag on the field right where that play finished. And it's a face mask on Zane Trace, so it'll move the Shermans a little bit closer. So they'll move it down to the 5-yard line.
Yep.
And it's 1st and goal with 52 seconds left here in the half.
So in that case, would it be at the end of the run?
Yes.
So they went half the distance then?
Yeah, they had to tack on half the distance there. They were at the 10. They put them at the 5. And plenty of time here as the clock ticks inside. 45 seconds left. Handoff straight ahead. Griffin trying for the end zone. Down just short at about the 1 or 2 yard line. Sherman still with their 2 timeouts if they need them. I'm sure they'd like to not leave anything left on the clock if they could. But obviously you prioritize the points. Hoops does hand it off straight ahead into the end zone for a touchdown. So the Shermans bounce right back, go 54 yards in about 1 minute and 15 seconds. Obviously the big 37-yard pass play to start the drive got them close.
Well, you know, great clock management by Unioto. I think, you know, without the face mask there, probably call a timeout. That was Griffin on the touchdown carry, his first of the night.
And the extra point knocked through by River Pettigrew. And Unioto back in front, 21-14 with 18 seconds left here in this half. And if you're Zane Trace, you've got to kind of absorb that a little bit. You get the big score inside 2 minutes left. You get a defensive stop, you get the football back, have a chance to take the lead. But Unioto goes right down the field and scores and gives you nothing left here in this half.
Well, a positive thing for Zane Trace going into the half is, you know, without that second score, you might think, well, we had 2 drives. We started off in the red, or maybe not in the red zone, inside the 35, inside the 40. We only scored 1 time. And the second drive, I don't know the exact yardage, but definitely started on their own side of the field, put together a really good drive. At least you know you're now capable of that. You know, you go into the second half a little bit more confident about your offense.
So 18 seconds left here on the first half clock, 21-14, Unioto in front. This game got off to a little bit of a slow start, but they've certainly ratcheted it up now. We were talking with some of the folks in the press box before the game saying this is either going to be a really low-scoring game or it's going to be a shootout, and it looks like we have the latter. Both offenses have gotten things going here in the second half of this first half.
We've definitely gotten into the cooler fall months here as we enter
football
the final
season
quarter
is finally here.
Yeah. Well, you know, it was just 1 week on Wednesday. It was about 95 degrees. That Thursday it dropped all the way down to what seemed about 55, 60, and it really hasn't turned back since.
I'll take this over 85 any day. Nice kickoff here, taken at the 10-yard line. They'll try to set up the wall on the near side. It's set up pretty well here. Getting to the sideline and getting bumped out of bounds is Aiden Dunn on the return for Zane Trace. So hard to set up that wall on the kickoff return and hold it long enough when you have to run all the way across the field like that. So 12 seconds left here in this half. We'll see what Zane Trace elects to do.
Yeah, you know, not a whole lot of time here, only 12 seconds. Really, I think the smartest thing, some people might disagree, I think the best thing here, just drop a knee and head into the locker room. You know, Uniota's still 2 timeouts here, so if you mishandle the ball here, Uniota takes over. Although they'd be on, you know, maybe the 30, 35-yard line, they still have 2 timeouts. I'd say probably don't want to risk it, but I say that, and it looks like we might get a little Hail Mary action.
4
there.
wide receivers out. They'll throw to the short man, Austin Eisen. He unable to make the catch. That play did not look set up for success from the beginning. So 2nd down and 10 here with 8 seconds left. We'll see if they try something again here, or if they just take a knee and head to the locker room. Might be time to break out a hook and ladder or something like that. The only problem is it's a 1-score game. You're going to get the football to start the second half. You know, you don't want to do something crazy and,
especially when,
heaven forbid, an interception or fumble or something turns it the other way.
And, you know, there are certain times when you want to use, because you only really get one chance a season to break out a trick play like that. Now with Unioto having, you know, 3 guys back prevent defense, probably don't want to waste it here.
I'll just run it here straight ahead. Barnhart has a nice room to run out over the 50 inside the 45-yard line, but that'll run the final seconds off the clock as soon as they set the ball here.
I think Zane Trace still a timeout in their pocket. Head coach right around the hash is out onto the field trying to get the timeout.
Had to get it in before they set the football. So we will have one more play here in this half. And that might be a situation, too, where they say, all right, we'll just run it, take the time off the clock, get into the locker room down 7, and receiving the second half kickoff. But then you get a nice big run like that from Daniel Barnhart, and you think, wait a minute.
Oh, here we go.
I mean, 43 yards out and have a chance to maybe make a heave to the end zone. Carter Langley has thrown the ball well this year. He just hasn't thrown it very much.
Now tonight, only thrown it 4 times, hasn't completed a pass yet. But, you know, you look at how the possessions have gone for Zane Trace, you know, so far tonight, they really haven't been in a position to where they've been forced to throw yet. Yep. Now, if it wasn't the end of the half here and this was a normal possession, you know, when you're down 7, you know, maybe they're faced with a 2nd and long, 3rd and long. Now that's a position where we might be inclined to throw or forced to throw, and I think that's when it'll start to get interesting, as we'll see. You know, then that's the biggest question. Can Zane Trace throw the football when they absolutely have to?
Langley has only made 10 or more pass attempts in a game twice this year, including 10 for 99 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. Completes it here to Lane at the 30-yard line, but that'll end the half. So 21-14, Unioto in front. Back and forth football game, but it's been the very competitive game that we expected. These two teams undefeated coming into tonight. Unioto 21, Zane Trace 14. We'll take a little bit of a break. We'll leave the sound on so you can watch the halftime shows here at Zane Trace, but Dewey and I will be back as we get set to start half number 2. Again, stick with us here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
Please welcome Unioto High School marching Shermans, under the direction of Ms. Colleen Coyne, assisted by Mr. Jonathan Cohen, and culinary instructor Mr. Morgan Simon. The 2022 field commander is Mitchell Barnes, and the dance commander is Olivia Breitbach. This evening's performance features popular music hits from 2010 to today. First up is Jessie J, Ariana Grande, and Nicki Minaj's Silver Howell Henry Reed's Bang Bang.
2019 with the release of her first studio album. Known for her electro-pop music and minimalist instrumentation, the star won record and Song of the Year at the Grammys. Here's Bad Guy. Selection is an old favorite that we feature every year. We're ready to take you back with this classic hit by the Doobie Brothers, Long Train Runnin'. applause from Unioto High School marching Shermans.
Football fans, you ever tried apple nachos? Just told there are apple nachos underneath the home stand. Please welcome the Zane Trace Marching Pioneers. Leading the band is Field Commander Megan Lewis. They're performing their 2022 show, Jazz Club. Then they will do a couple of tunes with the junior high band. Our first selection is House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. This arrangement features a trumpet solo played by Silas Ruggles. Up next is a wonderful jazz piece called Voodoo by the Dirty Dozen Brass Band. Our jazz club closes with Fever, first released by Lorello Willie John in 1956, covered by hundreds of artists including Peggy Lee, Elvis Presley, Madonna, Michael Bublé, and Beyonce. It has become one of the most well-known jazz pieces of all time. This arrangement features solos on the trombone, tuba, and color guard, performed by Connor Hill, Zeke Smith, and color guard captain Michaela Rutherford. welcome the junior high band to the field. They will be playing along with the high school band, playing the songs Great Balls of Fire and the Zane Trace fight song. A hand for the high school and junior high marching Pioneers. Again, football fans, if you see the young ladies selling tickets, tonight's 50-50 is for girls soccer. If you want to participate in that, just flag one of them down. Let them know. Still got time for eats and treats over at the concession stand. Restroom facilities are there, and porta potties over on the other side of the field. Again, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank Green Township and Coleraine Township Fire Departments for their services here this evening. Also, Zane Trace fans, make sure to mark your calendar. October 1st, you can help the cheerleaders out towards their trip to Hawaii. You can get a carry out, or you can go to Texas Roadhouse October 1st from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Order your breakfast and have the cheerleaders serve it to you. Again, that's to help with their trip to Hawaii. Also have apple tacos here underneath the bleachers. Also mark your calendars, Zane Trace fans, next Thursday. Zane Trace Junior High football team is 5-0. They will be playing Huntington for the league championship. That game will be here starting at 5:15. That's next Thursday. Also, one more time, our Zane Trace sponsors, a press box sponsor for Friday Night Football, Subway Restaurant in Chillicothe. Our scoreboard sponsor, the Zane Trace sponsors, Newman's Insurance, North Auto Law, Huff Electric, Kingston National Bank, Live Well Chiropractic, First American Insurance.
Back here at Zane Trace High School, Jacob Wise, Dewey Daly with you here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth, and an eventful first half as Unioto takes a 21-14 lead. We look at some of the unofficial halftime stats. Of course, Unioto leading in total yards. Most of those through the air. They're 113 through the air for Hoops so far, but the two big turnovers, the fumbles on their first two drives. Zane Trace really got it going on the ground, 148 rushing yards in that first half, and a whole bunch of them from Mr. Daniel Barnhart. And certainly going to be the recipe to success for the Pioneers, at least here to open this second half. So just about ready to get things underway. Still a minute on the clock, but usually when both teams take the field, they'll just go ahead and wipe that out and reset it for the third quarter. And Zane Trace tied this football game with about a minute and 20 seconds left. And then Unioto, starting after a nice long kickoff return from Maddox Fox, got him out to just shy of the 50-yard line, got a 37-yard pass, and then punched it on a run to take the lead back with 8 seconds left before the half. So 21-14, Sherman's in front, able to escape some early turnovers, and then they got the biggest turnover that wasn't a turnover on the kickoff after their first touchdown. As you described it, Dewey, the mortar kick along the sideline that none of the Zane Trace players were able to handle. It looked like kind of confused them, not normally seeing the football up that far. And the Sherman's able to come through and recover that and then go down and score another touchdown. So kind of stole a possession there. So a big opening possession for Zane Trace here as we start half number 2. Not completely sure where we will be next week. Probably Unioto Paint Valley. Haven't gotten the official go-ahead on that, but that would be the one that you would think would make the most sense.
Well, you know, you get later in the season and, you know, maybe some games we had scheduled don't exactly work out and got to make a quick pivot. And like you said, not 100% sure where we'll end up next week, but Paint Valley at Unioto, very good possibility as it'll really be the same circumstances here tonight. It'll most likely be Paint Valley undefeated in the league, and you know, if Unioto gets the win tonight, they'd be undefeated as well.
There's another one of those pooch kicks, and it's just batted out of bounds smartly there on the far sideline by Zane Trace. Couldn't quite tell who that was. I think it was Gunnar McCullough who got over there and just two hands batted that thing out of bounds. Almost looked like that same one earlier in the football game where Unioto just about got that one too. I'm sure the sideline for Zane Trace kind of had their hearts in their throats there for a minute. But they will get it. Nice field position. Their own 40-yard line to start the second half. Again, thanks for joining us here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth. Jacob Wise, Dewey Daly, Carson Francis on the camera tonight. Big thank you to all the folks here at Zane Trace for treating us well as always. Carter Langley Out in the shotgun has Barnhart to his left, and Langley unable to do anything there after the snap. The Unioto defense, they're swallowing him up a couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage. Not the way you want to start the half.
Now 6 carries for 40 yards and a touchdown in the first half for Langley. First carry here in the second half going to go for about -2. Bring up about a 2nd and 12 for Zane Trace.
Pretty cool scene here at Zane Trace. They've got the students right beyond the end zone down to our right, and there are a whole bunch of folks camped out on the hill past the end zone down to our left. Kind of like what you see in the Little League World Series, and a lot of folks standing around and in the bleachers as well. Langley again takes it himself, a little more of a success this time. Gets it out over the 45-yard line to the 46, 47-yard line, depending if they spot it with the left foot or the right. Looks like the 47, the point of that football.
You know, if you kind of watch that run, he just kind of had one hand out, followed his blocks all the way down the field, gets across the 45, and sets up a 3rd down and short here.
Kind of used his offensive lineman there as a human shield, didn't he? Pretty good.
Well, sometimes that's all you got to do.
Yep.
He kind of hopped around from one lineman to the other. If you get a push up front, that's something you're able to do into the, the secondary.
Nice recovery after the loss on 1st down. Brings up 3rd down and 3 here. Sherman's ready to blitz in here, perhaps. A good job by Langley to kind of reset. Hands it off. And Phillips immediately met at the line of scrimmage. He falls forward for maybe a half a yard. Gonna bring up 4th down and 3.
Once again, Uniota's, in this case, up front, their defensive line just doing a great job. Comes up with the stop here, and as of right now, looks like it's going to force Zane Trace punt.
I mean, that play there, setting football back 70 years. All 22 players were within about 3 yards of football, and double tights. Everybody along the line of scrimmage defensively there for Unioto. Nowhere to run. The punt team out for the Pioneers. And a nice punt here will hit at the 20 and take a nice Zane Trace bounce inside the 10, and it's down at the 7-yard line. And so the next best thing, if you can't score on the opening possession, at least pin your opponent deep. Able to do that, and the Shermans come out here for the first time in the second half. 21-14 lead. Zane Trace scored first. Unioto got the next 2. Went up 14-7. Zane Trace tied it at 14, and then the Shermans went right down the field in the last minute and a half of the first half to take the 21-14 lead. Newton hoops off of a fantastic first half throw in the football. He hands it off here. Newkirchner around the end and past the marker and a first down out near the 20-yard line.
Only 1 carry for Newkirchner in the first half. Went for 15 yards. This time able to move the sticks once again for Unioto.
Again, he's really having to fill a hole on the defensive side of the football, replacing Ethan Summer tonight. But gets a carry there, up over 100 yards rushing now in the season. Doesn't get a ton of carries. You've got guys like Cody Tuttle and Corbin Dement and Casey Dre who get most of the carries. Hoops to throw here, has a man open. It's Fox, and he is dragged out by Langley at the 38-yard line and moved the sticks for the Shermans. The Newton hoops to Maddox Fox hookup. Doing some good things for the Shermans so far in this one.
Yeah, an 18-yard connection here. Fox just working to the boundary. Hoops rolls out to his right, wide open down the field. Got a few yards after the catch here. Sets the Shermans up 1st and 10 just in front of the 40-yard line.
Hoops has done a nice job of putting the ball in a place where Fox can catch and run. Double wing set here. Dre went in motion, the handoff straight ahead. And Dement with not much room to run will pick up a yard and bring up 2nd down and 9. Nice job there in the interior. Daniel Barnhart in there, as well as Spencer Brower there for Zane Trace. Nayland Robinson also getting in there to get some credit on that one. Nayland Robinson, a guy you have to feel like is maybe a little been a little bit underutilized offensively.
Yep.
Here this year. Had a big week in week 1, but hasn't had the ball thrown his way much as the Pioneers typically run the football. Dement breaking free here out over the 50, and he falls forward at the 47-yard line. And the Shermans on the move into Pioneer territory.
Now Dement once again gets into the open field, shakes loose, shakes a couple tackles, gets across the 50. 15-yard pickup here for Unioto.
Sherman's in not any hurry at all, nor should they be. Ball at the 46-yard line of Zane Trace. That double wing formation again. This time they run Tuttle wide. They'll throw to the other side. It's Hoops. Breaks the tackle. Gets to the 30. Still loose inside the 25, and he's tripped up there. Another big, quick hitter there for Unioto on the pass play. And the Shermans starting to pick up yards in chunks.
Yeah, 5th catch of the night for Blake Hoops. This time goes for 22 yards. That's his 3rd catch over 15 yards, and that's his 3rd catch in a row. Over 18 yards.
Had 19 for 257 and 6 touchdowns coming into tonight. 3 for 57 and 2 scores last week for Blake Hoops. And the handoff this time, Dement looking for the sideline, gets wrapped up from behind and tossed down inside the 15-yard line. Looks like another first down here for Unioto. Unless they say step, nope, now they'll move the chains. So a nice run again from Corbin Dement.
His last 2 carries, 15 yards, 10 yards. Unioto not had any problem moving the ball down the field whatsoever this drive. New set of downs here. Able to get a first down. It looks like it's just inside the 5-yard line.
Handoff straight ahead. Griffin has a touchdown run in this game. Not much room to go there. Picks up a yard or 2 here. Out of about the 12, 13-yard line.
One thing to look at Zane Trace that they're doing very well is containing Matt Griffin. We talked averaging over 15 yards a carry. Hasn't had a carry over 8 yards tonight. Hasn't had a carry over 5 yards in his last 4. Done a decent job containing him in regard to the run game.
Hoops in the pistol with Griffin behind him. They'll throw it to the wingman, Tuttle, who is in motion, but incomplete. And probably one of those there where you're better off not catching the ball.
Pass intended for Tuttle was incomplete.
Cody Tuttle, the 5'8" senior, was right at 100 rushing yards on the season on 15 carries coming into the game. And it's kind of a stable of ball carriers for the Shermans. Talking earlier, it makes it tough on the defense. You can't key on one guy. Third down and 9. Hoops to throw it. Going for Fox in the end zone, and he can't make the catch with one hand. Ball just a bit too far. Good coverage there on the play. Riley Hartzall.
Now this is where it's going to get interesting. Unioto definitely has the capability to kick a field goal here. Now, will they? I don't know. If they're able to, it would put them up 2 scores. And it looks like they're going to give a go here.
Yeah, they're running the special teams on.
Haynes definitely the leg and the accuracy, now a junior. Been doing this since he was a freshman.
River Pettigrew kicks the extra points, but Haynes has been doing the kickoffs tonight, has a touchback tonight, certainly has the leg for it. It'll be a 29-yard attempt as they spot it at the 19. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and it is good. So a 29-yard field goal from Haynes puts Unioto up by 10, 24-14. 6:33 left in this third quarter from Zane Trace. You're watching on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
Definitely a bit of an advantage. I'm kind of confused why.
If there's not a Par Mar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Par Mar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Par Mar has it. Download the Par Mar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Par Mar rewards card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Par Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
Carlos. First time setting foot inside a tattoo shop. Second picture his daughter has posted to her story. Third check on his bucket list. And 4 years of cancer-free checkups at OhioHealth.
Another short kick here. That one fielded over by the 26, 27-yard line. A couple of yards there before being knocked down. 24-14, Unioto in front after the 29-yard field goal by Lucas Haynes. Nice long drive again by the Shermans. A good job by the Pioneers to keep him out of the end zone. And now kind of up against it here. 6:29 left in this third quarter. Still plenty of football left, but you don't want to get too far behind. This offense primarily a running offense, not a team that schematically has been built to come back from behind. And when you're a running type offense, you eat up a lot of clock as well.
And we've talked about it all game. This is where it's going to start to get interesting. You know, obviously, you don't need to hit the panic button yet. You have, 6 minutes left here in the whole fourth quarter, so no need to abandon the run game yet. You still run your offense how you usually do, and do it in a comfortable way.
Langley will take it himself here off the shotgun. Has some room to run, looking for the outside. Picks up the block, has the corner, and he runs through Isaiah Cunningham, who hangs on for the tackle. And the big play that Zane Trace needed gets him into Unioto territory. Nice run by Carter Langley.
A 27-1-yard run for Langley, able to get across the 50 into Unioto territory, just short of the 45-yard line.
That was a quick quarterback draw there. As soon as he got the snap, he was off, and he got a nice late block there from Daniel Barnhart. And credit to Barnhart, he saw Langley coming his way, kind of turned, peeled back, and ran that interference block. Didn't need to blow anybody up.
I'm sure there was a bit of vocal communication going on as well.
He'll throw it this time. Langley over the middle, has a man wide open, and it's caught at the 10, the 5, end zone, touchdown, Zane Trace. Kyle Stonerock, a 35-yard touchdown catch. And Zane Trace right back in it.
Yeah, Stonerock, a big-time basketball player for Zane Trace. Don't know if he's had a catch this season. Big-time play there, 45-yard passing, or for Stonerock to be a 45-yard receiving touchdown. Zane Trace an extra point away here from cutting it to 3.
Big answer for the Pioneers. Stonerock slipping right through the middle of the defense down the seam. It was 45 yards.
Yep.
I looked up at the scoreboard. It said ball on the 45, and the chains had already moved, apparently. So the extra point here to make it a 3-point game. And it is up and good. So Zane Trace gets the answer and a long run from Langley, and then the long pass to Stonerock. And it's a 3-point football game with 5:50 left here in this third quarter. Back in a moment on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
At OhioHealth, you can see your doctor here or here, on this or on these. And no matter if you're over here, over there, or anywhere in between, you'll feel good knowing OhioHealth provides the finest care anywhere. Schedule care today at ohiohealth.com/finestcare.
Hey, Mike Glockner here from the Glockner family of dealerships. Want to wish all the fall sports athletes a very safe and successful year. Good luck.
Gets over the heat. 5:50 left in this third quarter. It's been a fun one. Unioto with a field goal. Zane Trace with the big answer drive to get the touchdown on the 45-yard pass to Stone Rock. A lot of football left in this one. This has been a fun football game.
Yep, absolutely. Zane Trace had a pretty good opportunity early on with those two fumbles. Capitalized on one of them. I think forced one other Unioto punt. Other than that, Unioto had a pretty decent time moving the ball. But Zane Trace, easy time there. A long Langley run, hooking up with Stone Rock for the 45-yard score.
Sometimes you get these highly touted matchups and they don't quite live up to the hype. But both teams making big plays. Both teams with some big momentum shifts. They try to rip the football out there. And Unioto will start it at their own 30-yard line with 5:45 left here in the third. And a 3-point lead here on the road against Zane Trace.
Just some quick halftime scores here in between the action. Chillicothe 21-13 over Miami Trace. Logan Elm 27-7 over Liberty Union. Waverly 33-7 over Lucasville Valley. Paint Valley up over Huntington 26-6. Piketon 14-0 over Southeastern. Adena 20-8 lead over Westfall. Jackson 42-0 over Hillsboro. And McLean down 36-0 to Washington Courthouse.
Hoops in the gun here. They send New Kirshner in motion. And a tackle way in the backfield here as Matt Griffin is taken down immediately. I think he thought that he was face masked. And Blake Hoops having to be pulled away from an official by a teammate. I think he was trying to lobby for the penalty there. The officials must have said he got him up around the jersey instead. It's a 5-yard loss back to the 25-yard line. Big play there by the Zane Trace defense.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, Unioto obviously a little bit more comfortable throwing than Zane Trace is. But now, you know, 2nd and 15, almost, you know, you almost have to throw here. Now, you know, Unioto had some decent success on the ground, so could see run here, try to shorten it up for 3rd down. But, you know, 2nd and 15 got a long way to go.
They have not had the consistent big chunks, though. There's a coverage issue here on the near side. The pass out to Hoops. And a good job to ride him out of bounds there, just around the 30-yard line by Aiden Dunn. He was waving for a man to come over. There were 2 receivers to the near side, and he was the only DB on this third of the field. And fortunately for Zane Trace, the pass went to the shorter of the 2 routes. And a good job by Dunn to recover and only give up 6 yards there. So 3rd down and 9. And a flag off the far sideline. And Unioto looks like they're going to get hit with an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
Well, probably going to be, I thought it might be a sideline warning. No, going to be unsportsmanlike on Unioto.
Somebody said something on the far sideline that the official picked up.
You know, with this kind of field position on 3rd down, at least in my own opinion, you have a punter that has a pretty decent leg. You may just want to try to run the ball here and punt it away. You know, obviously try to force something. You may turn the ball over on your own side of the field, at least with a punt. You know, you give yourself a chance to, you know, not only get it onto Zane Trace's side of the field, maybe flip the field here if you get a Unioto roll.
Understand what you're saying, but Unioto does have 2 fumbles today. Those were in their first 2 drives of the game. But a big spot here, 3rd down and a mile. 3rd and 24 at their own 15-yard line. Hoops, pump fake, throws short. They'll try to set up the bubble screen. Fox gets around 1 defender and gets out near the 25-yard line. Taken out there on the far sideline, just shy of the 25, and it'll bring up 4th and long. So not the run, but a high percentage, low risk pass play there.
Yeah, just a nice little kind of a zero route by Fox, able to turn it into 7 yards. You know, if it wasn't 3rd and a mile, it would have been a pretty nice gain, but obviously now you go from what was 3rd and 26 or whatever it was, 3rd and 24, 3rd and 25. Now you're faced with a 4th and 17.
And that's one of those, too, where you get a ball to a playmaker in space and give him a chance to make a big play. Had to blow the whistle there. Drew Lane's shoe had come off. So they allow him to re-situate that before they continue on. 4th and still a mile. 4th and 17 now. Zane Trace set up, looking like they'll have some decent field position. Nice punt. And that one fielded at the 38-yard line. Coming back near side is done, and he's wrapped up and taken down by Matt Griffin, and a flag flies. And a face mask signaled initially by the official.
Yeah, you know, they're going to get a face mask on. From up here, it looked like he kind of had him around the shoulder pads. Now may have got a face mask on the way down. Was a pretty decent tackle by Griffin, but may have just caught a piece of the face mask. You know, that'll add 15 yards on to the end of the play.
So momentum swinging toward the Pioneers. They still trail by 3. 4:37 left still in this third quarter. Hasn't been a fast-moving game, but it's been an entertaining one from the opening kickoff. And the Pioneers set up with good field position here at the Unioto 45-yard line. Carter Langley leads his offense back out here. Daniel Barnhart to his left. 2 receivers top of your screen, 1 to the near side. And the pass out to the far side, complete on a little bubble route, and a nice gain about 9 yards near the first down at the just over the 36-yard line. And it's Austin Eisen on the catch.
Picks up about 9 seconds.
The 6-foot senior. I think that's his second catch of the night.
Well, second target of the night. First catch for Eisen. This one goes for 9 yards. Shorten it up nice and sweet here. Hey, this is prime Daniel Barnhart territory here. You handle it. But really, this could be either of the 3. This could be Langley. This could be Phillips. This could be Barnhart.
Austin Eisen caught one of the 3 touchdown passes from Carter Langley last week. Langley now under center, hands it off. It's Phillips, has some running room up the middle. Inside the 30-yard line, move the sticks for the Pioneers. Tell you what, this home bleacher has been loud, and then it has been quiet. You can hear a pin drop for a while. And they are fired up again here as things are starting to go the Pioneers' way.
Well, it's definitely a rowdy bunch over here. I mean, you know, the opening kickoff, our cameras are shaking around, our table's shaking around. You know,
they were here early, too.
Oh, yeah, it filled up here pretty quick. And the ensuing kickoff after they cut it to a 7-point lead, it was getting pretty wild over here again.
Langley out of the gun here. He has Barnhart to his left. He'll run it himself, uses Barnhart as a league blocker. Had some room, but somebody grabbed the jersey from behind to keep that from being a big play. Still a pickup of 8 to 9 yards. So kind of right there in between 8 and 9. So second and very short here. It wasn't very long ago. This was a 10-point game. I think it was still key that Zane Trace kept the Shermans out of the end zone and held them to a field goal, came back and scored a touchdown. Another good defensive possession, and now Phillips trying to move forward, picks up the first down to about the 16-yard line.
Phillips on the carry, tackled by Marcel James.
Blake Phillips with
Picks up the Zane Trace first down.
a couple of 100-yard games here recently. It was Daniel Barnhart really carrying the load last week, but the 2 games previous to that one, Phillips had at least 100 yards in each of those.
Well, coming into the second half, I don't know the exact numbers, but Barnhart probably had double the carries of Phillips. Phillips since then has evened it out, probably to about 50-50 at this point.
Phillips again here on the short handoff will pick up a few yards. Inside the 15 down to about the 11-yard line.
Phillips fights his way.
Zane Trace not doing anything fancy right now. Of course, that's what they were doing when they popped Stone Rock for that 45-yard touchdown pass last drive.
Yeah, it was just a nice little pop pass to the left side. You know, you're expecting the run. Stone Rock, not a guy you typically see get the passes. You know, a lot of the time it's Eisen, Lane, sometimes Nayland Robinson. Stone Rock just slips out the back door, wide open down the field. Had to outrun a defender right towards the end, but was able to get in for the score.
This ground and pound offense kind of lulls you to sleep sometimes on those kinds of plays. They'll readjust the running backs here as Phillips goes behind Barnhart in the eye. They'll fake it, roll to the near side, looking for Stone Rock again. He makes the catch, and he will rumble down to the 1-yard line. Nifty play there from Zane Trace to fake the handoff and then boot back to the near side.
Well, Stone Rock just doing a great job getting off the line of the scrimmage and into his route, this time picking up 10 yards, setting up Zane Trace for an easy score here.
Phillips into the end zone for the touchdown. Zane Trace back on top.
Yeah, second rushing touchdown of the day for Phillips, this time from 1 yard out. That puts Zane Trace out in front 3 at 27-4, pending the PAT here. A lot of people coming in questioning, can Carter Langley get it done through the air? I mean, when it's mattered, Langley done a great job hooking up with Stone Rock a couple times, has had a pass to Ison, had a pass to Lane. He's done a great job through the air when he needs to.
He hasn't been asked to throw the ball a lot, but when he has been accurate. Well over 65%, 67% completions this year. Coming into tonight. Extra point on the way, and it is good.
I tell you what, that's a big extra point because we've seen Unioto able to make field goals from a distance. Now, obviously, going to be forced to get in the end zone.
28-24, Zane Trace back in front. 1:14 left in his third quarter. So, again, still a lot of football left to be played, but for the moment, the Pioneers with the momentum. Earlier in the football game, Zane Trace had kind of wrestled away the momentum, and then Unioto went right down the field and scored to suck a little bit of air out of the stadium. See if they're able to do that again here. A little bit rattled that last offensive drive. Some unsportsmanlike penalties and some other miscues. A couple of big losses on plays. Sometimes those things can snowball on you.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like in baseball. Just got to have short-term memory here. Forget about the last drive. Without these unsportsmanlike penalties, Unioto is in a pretty decent position to, get a new set of downs, keep moving the ball. But, when you get faced with a 3rd and 25, it's tough to recover from that.
It's a great football game tonight, but I am looking forward to the seat warmers on the way home. A little chilly tonight.
2002 Honda Civic doesn't have seat warmers, so.
We could rig something up.
You can enjoy them for me. It definitely heats up like an oven in there, that's for sure.
St. Trace ready to boot this one away. The bleachers here on the home side starting to shake again like they did right at the opening kickoff. 28-24 Zane Trace. Going towards the sideline here, and that one will bounce up and go out of bounds. Fortunately for Unioto that one went out there, as Isaiah Cunningham had trouble fielding that ball on the bounce.
I'll be honest, I was almost surprised. And obviously we're not down on the field, so we can't see the exact angle that the ball is coming in. I thought Cunningham might let that go out of bounds, or you've seen a lot in the NFL.
I think that's
guys,
what he was thinking, is that it was going to go out, and then it kind of bounced straight at him instead of going out.
You've seen the thing in the NFL. It doesn't happen a lot, but the ball will be, right on the boundary, right on the hash. Guys will just lay out of bounds and touch it, or maybe pick it up with a foot out of bounds. It's a smart play. It results in a penalty. But obviously, right there, you get the one hop right into the numbers, kind of forced to make a play.
Be about a 15-yard difference as well in field position. They hand it off straight ahead here, and nothing much doing. Corbin Dement picks up about 2 yards. And again, the middle of this defensive line, the linebackers for St. Trace, playing the run well. Taylor Robinson credited with another tackle, among others on that play. 45 seconds and counting left here in this third quarter. 28-24, Zane Trace in front. They were down 10, and now they lead it by 4. Hand off again, not going anywhere. 3 more red jerseys in there to make the tackle. including Daniel Barnhart, I think the first one to get to him. Phillips and Wheeler also in there.
Well, we mentioned early on Unioto up front doing a great job controlling the line. Last couple of series on both sides of the ball, it's kind of flipped over in favor of the Pioneers.
Shermans will be content to let the clock run out. We head to the fourth quarter here in Kinnikinnick. Great football game. Battle of unbeatens and top 10 state-ranked football teams. 28-24. Zane Trace on top of Unioto on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
This broadcast is brought to you in part by Willie and Son Trucking. Willie and Son Trucking has been a proud supporter of local student athletes, coaches, and athletic programs throughout its history. Be sure to look out for the Shack Athlete of the Week, presented by Willie and Son Trucking, each week at SOSAOhio.com.
Michelle and her dad. Decades of dares. 1 month of learning to jump. First day doing it solo. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at OhioHealth.
Start of the fourth quarter here at Zane Trace. 3rd and 7 for the Shermans. Hoops back to throw. Has pressure. Scrambling back to the near side. Looking downfield. Has some room on the sideline, and he steps out just shy of the 35-yard line. So pick up the first down. Heck of a job there by Hoops to scramble after he immediately had some pressure in his face. Able to wheel around and find some space to the near side. Looked like it was going to be a big loss or an incomplete pass, and it turns into a first down.
Yeah, his second carry of the night. The last one came on the designed run that really didn't go anywhere. It was kind of like a broken play. Lost 2 yards this time, able to pick up 16 on a crucial third down. New set of downs for Unioto.
A little bit of a kick to the gut there for Zane Trace's defense. It was playing well, had made some big plays, thought maybe they were going to get back off the field and give the offensive some good field position. Now a run up the middle by Dement with some room. Picks up about 6 yards out over the 40-yard line.
Dement on the carry, tackled by Barnhart and Lane. Second down and about 3. Long 3.
We'll call it a 7-yard gain. Another one of those that's kind of right there in the middle of 6 or 7. 4 touchdowns for the Pioneers tonight. A lot of confetti all over the track in the bleachers tonight as Hoops has nowhere to go. And he's taken down, a loss of about a yard back to the 40-yard line.
Yeah, I think Dement in the backfield with Hoops, just miscommunication. Hoops opens up to the left. Dement goes right. It looked like it was a run for Dement. Obviously, in that time, you just got to kind of think like an athlete. And Hoops, at that point, the pockets, there really wasn't even supposed to be a pocket, but it starts to collapse around him and just kind of has to take what he can get and fall down.
Big 3rd down and 4 here. It was Hoops on the 3rd down scramble last time to pick it up. Hands it off to Dre, going far side, trying to get the corner. He will not. He does fall forward, and they'll mark him at the 45 for a first down.
Yeah, that's just a great effort. You go the end around here to Dre. That's, like we said, a lot of those sweeps and, across the line of scrimmage carries for Dre is really where he shines, and able to pick up the first down there for Unioto.
Looked like he was going to get stopped short, but able to fall forward and move the chains. And the Shermans would certainly be happy to eat up a bunch of clock here and put one in the end zone.
One thing to look at from a positive point of view for Zane Trace, 2 straight 3rd downs. Now, it's going to be tough for Unioto to consistently convert these 3rd downs and 5 or more as they move down the field.
Hoops back to pass, screen pass. It's Dement, the running back, has the sideline, and he trips out over the 50-yard line along the sideline. Didn't make it out of bounds, they say. So they'll pick up about 6 yards there. So Dement picks up the Now they move it up to the 48-yard line, so give them 7 yards.
Yeah, 7 yards on the screen pass to DeMint. We've seen them do that with Tuttle a couple times. They've also done it with Griffin a couple times. First time for DeMint, able to pick up 7 yards to make it 2nd and short here.
Nothing wrong with that on first down. Dre in motion. Hoops to throw it. Fox hit immediately and taken down. Austin Eisen sniffed it out, makes a big play, no gain. And another 3rd down and short coming here for the Shermans.
Yeah, you know, the idea was there. We've seen Unioto succeed a lot tonight, whether it's Hoops or any of the running backs. Fox had a good gain there towards the end of their last drive that went for around 7 or 8 yards. This time, Zane Trace just all over it, nowhere to go for Fox.
Shermans have been able to convert on 3rd down in the last 2 tries. This one a little bit shorter, 3rd down and 3. Handoff goes to Griffin. Far side, gets the 1st down. And about a yard or 2 extra on the sideline there. They'll move the chains again and keep that clock running once they spot the football.
Once again, another 3rd down conversion for Unioto. That's 3 for 3 just on this drive alone. Done a great job clutching up on 3rd down. And, you know, it was a pretty nice 2nd down stop by the Pioneers, but, you know, with Griffin running downhill, he's going to be a tough guy to bring down.
When you string those together, it starts to kind of wear you out mentally
and it's
and
a
physically
killer,
as
yeah.
a defense. You think you're going to get off the field and you get a fresh set of downs. Griffin straight ahead, plenty of room, runs through a tackle, gets to the sideline to the 20, falls forward to about the 17-yard line, and a big run for Matt Griffin.
Yeah, about a 27-yard pickup there for Matt Griffin. His first carry in the double digits, over 10 yards tonight. This one goes for 27. That puts Unioto in the red zone here with 8:08 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Griffin had 6 carries for 150 versus Piketon a couple of weeks ago, his season high. That's his season-long run, I believe. No, excuse me, he had a 95-yarder in that game. So Griffin gets the carry here again, bounces off of a would-be tackler and gets it back near the original line of scrimmage. Boy, that one could have gone ugly for the Shermans.
Yeah, that was one of the harder fought 1-yard gains you can see out of a running back. You know, as soon as he gets the ball, he's pushed back immediately 2 or 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. As he gets closer to the sideline, able to fight, get across the line of scrimmage, and only pick up about a yard.
Unioto doing a nice job of chewing up that clock. 7:45 left here.
And, you know, you look at the offensive line for Unioto. On the defensive line for Zane Trace, you have Stewart with 6 sacks on the season. That's 2nd in the SBC. I don't believe any sacks for Zane Trace overall here tonight. Have been a great job for the offensive line of Unioto.
Run straight ahead here, picks up almost another 1st down. Griffin with another carry, getting used heavily here in this 4th quarter.
3rd down, about 1.
At halftime, Unioto had more passing yards than rushing, although it was fairly close. They're really going to the ground game here in a long drive that's taken up a lot of the clock here in this 4th quarter so far.
It's been a lot of Griffin here the last few plays. You know, 3rd down and 1. I think the 4th straight, maybe not 4th straight, the fourth 3rd down for the Shermans just on this drive. Wouldn't expect him to stray too far away from number 2, Matt Griffin.
Back to Griffin, shakes a defender, trying to run through another, gets a big hit there from Drew Lane right around the line of scrimmage, but I think Griffin got enough to fall forward and pick up the 1st down. And 1st and goal for Unioto just inside the 5-yard line.
Another hard-fought run for Griffin. Only 3 yards picked up, but only needed 1. A new set of downs for Unioto. 1st and goal on the 5-yard line.
Clock ticking some more here. 6:35 and counting left here in this game. Unioto trying to take the lead. Griffin again, straight ahead, barreling forward, and he's down just shy of the goal line. 2nd down and goal from inside the 1 here for Unioto.
2nd and goal from about the 1.
A nice, methodical, punishing drive here from the Shermans. They've been very good on third down on this drive. You go back to the first third down conversion on the scramble from Hoops that looked like it was going to be incomplete or even a big sack. Turned it into a first down on about a 8-yard run. And Griffin finishes off the drive into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Shermans regain the lead with 5:40 left in this one.
Now, you wouldn't expect Unioto to get too cute here on the 1-yard line on second down. They sent Dre in motion, but, you know, as punishing as Griffin was the whole drive on the 1-yard line, easily able to punch it in from 1 yard out for his second rushing touchdown of the night.
Good way to drive a running back crazy when you give it to him all the way down the field and then you don't let him cap it off.
That's a fantasy football manager's nightmare.
Well-earned touchdown there. He deserved to be the one to punch it in. And Pettigrew on for the extra point. And he bangs that one through. 31-28, Unioto in front, 5:40 left in this one. Back in a moment on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth.
If there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Parmar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Parmar has it. Download the Parmar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Parmar Rewards Card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Parmar store near you now, there will be soon.
Carlos. First time setting foot inside a tattoo shop. Second picture his daughter has posted to her story. Third check on his bucket list. And 4 years of cancer-free checkups at OhioHealth.
5:40 left in this one from Zane Trace. A long, methodical, ground and pound drive from Unioto to take the lead back. 31-28. Zane Trace erased a 10-point deficit to go up by 4. But the Shermans answer when they need to, take the lead back. And Zane Trace will have 5:40 with which to work and try to win this football game.
Oh,
field goal would tie it.
Yep. And, you know, we haven't seen Fedders kicking tonight, but Fedders definitely possesses the leg to make something like that happen.
Unioto has been tricky with those kickoffs all night, and a big hit here. The thing is, you give up the field position, so able to hang on to it is Stone Rock, but the Pioneers will start at their own 35-yard line with 5:39 left, down by 3.
Stone Rock took a lick there, and really he was in a pretty vulnerable position, had to go straight up, you know, hands in the air, getting the onside, or not really an onside kick, more of a squib kick to the left side, but able to hang on, and that's really what Zane Trace needed most. They needed to come out of that kick return with the ball.
That's one where when you go up for it, you know you're about to take a lick, and you just brace yourself and hang on as hard as you can. So here we go, big drive, 5:39 left in this one. After Unioto took about 7 minutes off the clock on their last drive. Quick pop pass here. Phillips on the sideline, has a little room, gets it out over the 40-yard line. I'll mark him at the 41-yard line. A nice 6-yard gain on first down.
Well, you know, Phillips, typically the receiving back for Zane Trace, only his first target of the night, goes for about 6 yards, sets up about a second and medium here for the Pioneers.
And that's what you need to do if you are Zane Trace offensively. Just, you don't have to get a ton. There's time on the clock.
Probably want to try to stay in bounds as well.
You want to stay away from second, third, and long. Oh, miscommunication here, and Phillips, a good job to jump on top of it. A flag kind of tossed in. I think that was the beanbag, actually. They changed those to orange a couple years ago, and they used to be blue, and blue was a lot easier to differentiate from a yellow flag.
Wonder what
The orange is easier to see, though.
Yeah. I wonder what, maybe that's what the, thought process behind it is. Maybe a little bit easier to pick up, especially get to these fields that are, I don't want to say overgrown, but a little bit taller than
Some of them,
maybe
yeah.
typically you'd want a football field to be. Might get buried. Dark blue already tough to pick up in dark green grass. Obviously a little easier here if you go every 5 yards in the light green.
Under 5 minutes to play. 3rd down and long. Big play here for Zane Trace. Will fake the handoff. Langley will take it himself. Breaks the tackle initially, but a good job to run up and make the play is Isaiah Cunningham. And a 4th down and 4 upcoming here for Zane Trace. Tell you what, the way
Unioto have to go for it,
ran the clock on their last drive, that defense has to be tired. Take a timeout here, draw something up, but it feels like the way the clock has been moving in this 4th quarter, it's a spot where you have to go for it.
And this is what's going to happen here. You're just about almost forced to throw here. It's about a 4th and 4, 4th and 5. Probably going to be keying Stone Rock on a pop pass. Don't want to see that happen anymore. But if they do key him, that opens guys up. We mentioned Drew Lane, Austin Eisen. Don't believe Nayland Robinson even had a target tonight. So that's a fellow tight end of Stone Rock. Could get opened up. Maybe it's a little block and you slip out into the open field. Try to get the 1st down here. Zane Trace probably going to have to get creative here if they want to move the sticks.
Well, you got to think, too, Nayland Robinson, 6'4", 235. We know he's a phenomenal basketball player, an outstanding athlete. He's a guy that he could run out there 5 yards, turn around, and kind of pin somebody on his backside like a box out basketball and just throw it up around his face mask, and you'd think you'd be able to get that.
Right, you look at the team stats for Zane Trace the past couple years. 2 years ago, Robinson leads the Pioneers in receiving. Last year, I believe he came in 2nd. But overall, past 2 years, been a great tight end in the SBC.
There we go, 4th down and 4. Quick pass, and it is caught, but it's short.
Nope, got it.
No, they gave him the forward progress to the 45-yard line. Wow.
I tell you what.
Matt Hoops on the far sideline he can't believe it.
I tell you what, that's a good call. As soon as Dunn was able to gain possession of that, dropped his knee down right on the 45-yard line, then kind of got shoved back a little bit. I think that's a great call by the official.
He ran that one right to the 1st down stick, didn't he?
And
he did everything.
With something like that, maybe typically a curl is, maybe a 3-yard curl, maybe an 8-yard curl. That's a situation there where you're going to be under pressure. You stay. This is a to the sticks curl. You're running this route to the sticks, get the 1st down, and that's what they did.
A huge 4th down conversion for the Pioneers. Stone Rock in the game. Langley will take it himself. Nice kick out block. And Langley will pick up a few. Shoved out of bounds on the near sideline there. Andrew Griffin over to help make the tackle there for Unioto. And they say he did not get out of bounds. The clock continuing to run here. 3.5 minutes to go. And starting to get to a point here where you're thinking maybe you got to have a little bit more sense of urgency.
Well, and you still have all your, I think Zane Trace down to two timeouts
left, yep. Took one right before that 4th down play.
Got to try to use the boundary here.
Barnhart straight ahead, gets close to a 1st down, a couple yards shy inside of Unioto territory. Bring up a 3rd down and 2. And the clock will tick under 3 minutes before this play is run. Although the Pioneers trying to hurry up a little bit more here. Barnhart, the handoff, gets the 1st down with some more. It's Phillips. Phillips breaks free down to the 30-yard line. Blake Phillips on the run. And a big one for Zane Trace.
That's a 16-yard run for Phillips. That is his first rushing attempt over 10 yards tonight. Couldn't have come at a better time.
Casey Dre makes the tackle, and it appears that Unioto will take a timeout to try to give their guys a bit of a breather and stop this momentum for Zane Trace.
Oh, absolutely. In basketball, if a team goes on a double-digit run, you're going to try to call a timeout, try to slow down the momentum here. New set of downs, so a new chance, a new opportunity here for Unioto to try to make a stand. The ball's still on the 29-yard line, so even if you do have a leg to make a 30, 35-yard field goal, still not even close. Well, I wouldn't say not even close, but you still got a bit of work to do to get in that area. But, I wouldn't approach the rest of this drive as Zane Trace thinking, you have a gimme field goal. I think you got to try to get in the end zone here. But I would take a field goal over trying to force a pass and throwing an interception. So you got to be smart here.
Right now, the field goal is your
safety
backup
blanket.
plan. That's your last resort. You're looking for a touchdown, 2:47 left. You're down to the 30-yard line. You're inside the 30 into opponent territory.
But, the ability to kick a field goal here, and we assume they still possess that ability, is the reason why you do not want to force anything here. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. You don't want to press the panic button. You got 2 timeouts and 2:45 to go.
Langley in the shotgun, Barnhart to his right. They send Lane in motion. Fake the handoff. Langley will take it himself, tries to spin back inside, but not much room there. Tuttle in there to make the play for Unioto. Cody Tuttle, 58 tackles coming in, leading the team.
Leading the SVC.
Leading the SVC, how about that?
About 3 to second down and 7.
So 3-yard gain there, second down and 7 as the clock continues to run.
Tell you what, a lot of these, read runs here for Langley. I wonder how many of those are just designed runs, and that fake handoff is more or less just window dressing.
Handoff here. Phillips stacked up immediately. Langley tried to jump in and push him forward, but nothing doing there as 3 different white jerseys meet him. David Long among them. And to make the play for Unioto in the far side bleacher. Gets excited there. 3rd down and 5 and change coming up. Clock ticking inside minute 40.
3rd down and about 6.
Field goal ties it. Touchdown puts you in front. Still not quite in that conversation yet.
Yeah, I probably want to try to get, and obviously it'd be a new set of downs. You got to get to at least the 20 if you even want to think about it. So you still got about 5 yards to go here.
You're talking a 40-yarder at this point. Langley to pass. He's got man coverage, lobs one up to the end zone, and there should be interference down around the 5-yard line. The feet got tangled up. They're trying to slip Silas Stewart up the middle of the field. Langley was content to just lob it up there. And
tell you what, that may not be pass interference. I think it's going to be, but that may be more of an illegal contact type penalty. I think it's going to be pass interference, but it definitely wasn't intentional.
Like the feet got tangled up. There was definitely some body contact before that, though.
Yeah.
And I don't think Langley really got threw the ball the way he wanted to. I don't know if it got tipped or if he got bumped when he let it go.
Yeah, it didn't have a whole lot of juice on it. May have slipped coming out of the hand. It is getting a little chilly. I'm sure it's warmer on the field than it is up here, but definitely gets a little bit harder to throw when the hands start to get cold.
Now it might have bailed him out a little bit. That ball kind of fluttering in the air. So a minute 12 left, ball at the 13-yard line. The down marker says 4th down. I assure you it is 1st down. Now they change it. Double tights. Handoff Phillips, has some room, breaks free, into the end zone for a touchdown. Zane Trace back in front with 1:06 left to play.
3rd rushing touchdown of the night for Phillips. His 2nd over 10 yards. Couldn't have come at a better time. Zane Trace out in front 3 here with 1:06 to go.
And a big, big extra point attempt coming up here to make this a 4-point game. We know that Unioto has the ability to kick a decently long field goal.
Yep.
So you want to make this a 4-point game if you are Zane Trace.
Yeah, this is as you mentioned, this is a huge PAT for Zane Trace.
A big run from Phillips for the touchdown. So many lead changes in this game. Good snap, good hold, and the kick is through. A 4-point lead for the Pioneers, 35-31 with 1:06 left. Back and forth we go here in Kenny Kinnick.
Well, and, you know, this is where things, you know, it's an uphill battle now. You got to get in the end zone. You got 106. You got a couple timeouts, you know, like we said about Zane Trace. You're going to have to work the boundaries here. You have guys like Fox and Hoops that can make things happen. You get a nice release. You get a nice move to the outside, get out of bounds. You know, with a minute 06, that's enough time to where you don't have to go, you know, huge right out of the gates. You can have, you know, pitch and catch passes for, you know, 6, 7 yards. You still have 2 timeouts, so if you have a big play over the middle, you can call a timeout. If you have to, you got to be able to get up, clock the ball here. It's going to have to be a pretty efficient drive here for Unioto.
You need to get a good kick here to start things.
And
make sure your coverage team has everything pinned down the way they're supposed to if you're Zane Trace.
And as we've seen, Zane Trace doesn't exactly kick the ball a country mile on the kickoffs. Yeah. It's been mostly around the 30-yard line, so a good return here around midfield could set Unioto up for success coming into this drive.
The returners all around the 20-yard line. We've seen Maddox Fox bust a couple of nice returns.
Say he's probably on the do not kick it to him list. Probably going to try to kick it to whoever to their discretion can cause the least damage.
That's
here.
Hoops out on the far side.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be.
Is that Cunningham?
Yeah, Hoops Fox to Cunningham from left to right.
I'd imagine that the two on the edges say let Maddox get it like a center fielder if he can get to it.
Probably the best kick of the night.
Over to Hoops, just outside the 20, trying to pick some space, looking for the sideline, and he's ridden out of bounds over around the 35-yard line.
That's probably the best kick. I don't know who the kicker for Zane Trace is off the top of my head. Probably the best kick he's had tonight, and the kickoff team did a great job covering it. Held him inside the 40-yard line. Going to have to be a 65-yard drive here for Unioto with 59 seconds to go and 2 timeouts.
I think that's Landon Robinson, 18. He's been kicking tonight.
Yep.
All right, 59 seconds left. A 4-point game, 35-31. Boy, both teams have been incredible tonight. Newton Hoops in the shotgun. Has a man to his left, 3 receivers. He'll roll near side. Goes to Blake Hoops, who makes the catch and gets out to the 35 before he's ridden out of bounds for a short gain. They'll mark him at the 37, so a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7. No, they'll move him back to the 35.
Make it 2nd down, 9.
So they give him 1 yard, 2nd down and 9, but that's not the most important thing.
Got out of bounds.
He was able to get out of bounds and stop the clock at 51 seconds. Right now, the time is almost more important than the down. Obviously, you know, as far away you are, you have to get some first downs. Hoops to throw. Back to the middle of the field looking for Fox, and it's knocked away. Aiden Dunn racing in. A couple other red jerseys in the area, but I think it was Dunn who flashed in front.
3 catches on 6 targets for Fox tonight. On balls thrown in Fox's direction. Zane Trace done a pretty decent job defending him to bring up a 3rd down and 9.
I think that ball actually got to Fox, but with
you can see
Dunn
it
flashing in front, I think it just broke the concentration enough. And 3rd down and 9, obviously 4 down territory here, so you don't have to get it all back on 3rd down. But you certainly need to get a chunk of it.
Yeah, you want to at least make this 4th and under 4, 3 or 4.
Hoops has time, steps up over the middle and batted down. And a late flag from behind.
Now he's looking for Fox once again. I'm not sure who got in on it. Came around the right side.
I think it was Brower who, I think he had his hand around the back of the receiver when he reached in to bat it down.
Yeah, he had his hand on the left shoulder. It's a tough call, but, and he may have, it was a good defense.
Typically you don't get called for it if you do not impede the progress of the receiver. So obviously they got a better look at it than we do, but looked like a pretty nice play from number 77 there in coverage, but a big 1st down for the Shermans. Ball right at the 50-yard line. Some nervous energy here at the stadium right now.
Oh, I'm shaking. I don't know if it's because I'm nervous or because I'm cold, but
37 seconds left. Hoops with pressure. And he's taken down back at the 45.
Like Robinson.
Hayden Brannigan, I think, got in there first. Robinson came in as well. And a timeout for Unioto. They'll have one left.
You could not take a sack there. Robinson and Brannigan able to get in, make the play. Brannigan, I think, in the top 10. I think Robinson in the top 10 as well in sacks in the SVC. So a big-time play from the two defensive linemen for Zane Trace.
Brannigan had 2.5 coming in. So did Robinson. They may have both just picked up another half. Daniel Barnhart, 5.5 sacks coming in. Drew Lane with 6 from his linebacker spot. Spencer Brower, linebacker, 6 tackles for loss coming into tonight. The Zane Trace defense this year has played a lot in the backfield of their opponents. It's been a little tougher tonight, higher quality opponent.
Yep.
Again, both teams 6-0 coming into tonight. Obviously undefeated in the SVC. Both teams ranked in the top 10 in the state in their divisions. A big 2nd down and 15 coming here for Unioto. 29 seconds left. Again, the clock becoming more of an issue than the down and distance.
Yeah, you know, if you're able to pick up a first down here or even a big gain over the middle, it probably would have to be a first down. Probably don't want to burn a timeout. Probably just want to try to get up on the ball as quickly as possible and clock it as, you know, only one timeout left. Probably want to save that, although you can't take it with you. So
they put one tick back on the clock. 30 seconds to play. Hoops throws over the middle and a sliding catch made at the 44-yard line.
Got to go.
I think that was Cody Tuttle who made the catch.
I think it was Dre.
So 3rd down and 4. Hoops to throw, has pressure. Trying to direct traffic, chucks it along the sideline. Fox bobbled it, but he pulls it in. Did he pull it in?
I tell you what, if that's an incomplete pass, probably should be a second left on the clock.
Yeah, I was trying to find the official, and it looks like they will put something back on the clock. They do say it's a catch and that he got out of bounds for a first down. The clock's showing 12 minutes, and they're going to say put 2 seconds back on the clock. So 2 seconds left. Unioto has one more shot to heave it to the end zone. 35-31. Zane Trace in front after a long answer touchdown drive. And I think Zane Trace will burn a timeout here.
You're going to have to air it out here. You don't have much of a choice. You know, it's about 39 yards out. You know, obviously Zane Trace going to come out, probably put their 3 tallest guys, 3 most skilled guys back deep. You know, you just got to protect the end zone here. That's all you got to do.
34 yards away. It was Unioto who took their final timeout. Thought maybe Zane Trace was just trying to set things up defensively. Looks like they will rush.
Tell you what,
3 or 4, and they'll send 6 players back to about the 20-yard line. And it's spread out a little bit more now. And right now, if you're one of those guys back for Zane Trace, you're just, nobody gets behind you. Deep is deepest, as they say. 2 seconds to play. Hoops will need some time. Rolls to the near side. Fires for the end zone. Has a man there. It's batted down at the goal line. Zane Trace wins. 35-31. They beat Unioto. And the Pioneers go to 7-0, and they stay undefeated in the SVC. They hand Unioto its first loss of the season.
Tell you what, didn't get a number on who came in at the last second to bat it down, but one-on-one coverage. It was Hoops on the right side, beat his man. He was open in the end zone, kind of coming back to the ball. Once again, didn't get an exact number on who made the play, but whoever came across the field, it may have been Langley who came over and batted it away at the last second. A big play, a game-saving play. Zane Trace comes away with the win, 35-31.
Playing center field out there. What a football game. Both teams putting it all out there, back and forth affair. Momentum swings all over the place. Lead changes like crazy, but Zane Trace scores with about a minute left to play to take a 35-31 lead, and that is how it ends. Zane Trace continues their undefeated season into Week 8. And we thank you for watching it here on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by OhioHealth. Carson Francis, our cameraman, Dewey Daly next to me. Jacob Wise saying so long from Kinnick. Zane Trace wins it 35-31 over Unioto. Have a great weekend.